Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth, and this is the first video I am filming in 2024, so I hope you all are having a very happy start to the new year. As you can maybe tell from my voice, my husband and I both kind of began a cold, I guess, in the final days of 2023, and it is lingering through the beginning of 2024. But I am feeling pretty good. I never felt awful. It's been a pretty mild cold, and my husband, I think, has had it worse, and if you hear him coughing in the background, that's why. But we're both, I think, doing better, all things considered, and it wasn't like COVID or anything, so that's good. But anyway, I wanted to film basically a haul video of what I picked up in London and just tell you about my trip in general. I like watching these types of videos. I like making them. It's just a way to kind of reflect on the trip and talk about everything. As far as my, I guess, entry into 2024, it was also a bit rocky because my suitcase decided to stay in London an extra day, apparently. So British Airways, for whatever reason, didn't put it on our plane, but they did put it on a plane, I guess, the next day. So all things considered, it worked out, and they delivered my suitcase via courier. My husband had to pay extra for his bag because it was overweight, so it made it onto our plane anyway. But anyway, I feel lucky that I'm able to film this haul and show you what I brought back. And one quick thing I thought I would mention, I picked this up from Hallmark in the US after I got back. They always put their like yearly ornaments on sale for 50% off after Christmas, and so this one seemed appropriate. I collect ornaments. Usually we pick up a few, one at least, that kind of represents something significant that happened that year, and I just saw this one after we got back and I couldn't resist because it's a stack of suitcases in the shape of a tree, and it does have London on that suitcase right there, and the star is a luggage tag. My husband was giving me a hard time because I might have a label or something inside the luggage, but I didn't have like a dedicated suitcase label or tag. I just never saw the need because they always attach it at the airport. So he was giving me a hard time about that. Luckily, he did purchase some air tags for us before we went over. It was the first time we traveled with them. So when I got to the luggage carousel at Dulles and I was checking my air tag and it showed it was still in Heathrow, that kind of gave me my first indication that something might be up. But anyway, I do recommend those, and they also allowed me to kind of track the delivery of my suitcase the next day. So I'd say they are worth the investment. But anyway, this is going to be kind of a long chatty video, so I hope you guys are all on board for that. I did purchase makeup overseas, and I did apply most of it to my face, if not all of it, so I will talk about that in turn, and of course everything will be linked down below. And if you do see my foundation get rubbed away or whatever, I probably had to take a break to blow my nose or something. I have my tea here, which I'll need to drink. So anyway, I did put this off a few days, but I decided I just wanted to finally film it. Okay, so let's talk about the trip. So we flew over, it was a red eye the night of Wednesday the 13th, is what we normally do, and we landed Thursday morning at Heathrow, and we flew British Airways just like economy, but we did pay extra for like the exit row, I guess. We also, when we flew to Germany, that I'll talk about, we flew Ryanair, and we also paid a little bit extra for the extra legroom on that leg of the journey. In the future, I don't think we'll do the exit rows because they are very strict about not having like your personal item or anything like on the floor around you. They always have to put it up in the overhead compartment, and that is just kind of annoying. So I don't think we would do that again. We need to look into like getting a credit card with miles or something, because I told my husband we're too old to fly in economy, and I'm quite tall. I'm 5'10"-ish. So it becomes really uncomfortable for me, especially. All right. So anyway, when we landed on Thursday, I didn't really sleep on the plane at all, which is pretty normal for me. And then, so when we got to my in-laws, we did our standard just kind of hang out, take naps, that kind of thing. My husband is better about not napping, but I pretty much always take a nap of a few hours when I get in. Friday, we walked down to Asda, which is just kind of like a big box store, super center, that kind of thing. They have home goods, groceries. I think they're owned by Walmart, if I'm not mistaken. And I did upload a few things, I think, to my Instagram stories. I kind of fell off of doing it at some point in the trip because it just became too much of a chore and I was just enjoying myself. But I did save the stories I did upload as a highlight on my Instagram, so if you want to check that out, you can see various pictures and I might insert some things here and there. But anyway, we went to Asda. So I'll go ahead and give you a heads up in case anyone else is doing dry January that I do talk a lot about gin in this video. I do enjoy gin, and London, you have a lot of different brands of gin over here, but London, they just tend to have, or the UK in general, I guess, they just tend to have more unique flavors, and I do love a good gift set. So I picked this one up from Asda. It's from Edinburgh Gin, and my plan for my 40th birthday in, gosh, next year now, 2025, is to go to Edinburgh. So yeah, I saw this brand a few times while we've been over there, and I've just been curious about it. So I think it's a relatively new brand. I think it maybe started up in the 2000s or something. But anyway, came with this glass. I was kind of hoping it would be like a glass that you stir in and pour, you know, but I think it's just a drinking glass. So this is for like a highball, I guess. Yeah, that's maybe the same glass here. It says serving suggestion. But yeah, they have this one, a gin fizz with the orange and basil gin, and then the rhubarb and ginger gin is the ginger delight. So came with this, and it also came with two, I guess, airplane sized bottles. So this one is the orange and basil, which sounds delicious, and this one is the rhubarb and ginger. Spoiler alert, I did pick up a bottle of the rhubarb and ginger from the Germany duty-free store of all places because it was on like a super sale, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, this is very delicious. I was tempted to make myself a gin and tonic tonight to film this video, but like I said, I'm trying to do dry January. My husband and I, our anniversary is mid-January, so I know that's going to be kind of a pass or whatever. But yeah, I got that gift set, and I also picked up this one. I guess rhubarb and ginger is kind of a popular or common flavor. This one is from Whitney Neal. Apparently they've been around since 1762. So I just picked up a little kind of mini to try that one out as well. My husband and I, we have this bad habit of buying all the things I would tell you not to buy as souvenirs, like books, mugs, bottles of liquor or whatever, just really heavy, awkward things to take back, but whatever. And I'll just mention quickly, if you do plan to buy things more so, I guess, overseas and put them in your, like, stowed luggage, your checked baggage, because if you're carrying it through the airport, you don't have to be as concerned. But these are like little inflatable bags that I got off of Amazon. Like, we brought a bottle of Virginia wine over for my father-in-law as a Christmas present, or post gift, I guess. Yeah, you can reuse them once they've been inflated, but they can't deflate. So you can only like keep them inflated and then stick something else in. But yeah, they're not too expensive. They come with like a, you know, manual pump or whatever, and all of our bottles came back intact this time around. I told you, I think, was it last time when we went in May, that I had a bottle of my husband's that I think was crushed in my suitcase, so that was not fun. Okay, so let's talk about some makeup. So that Saturday we went down to Harrods. We just kind of walked around. We actually went to our first tea near Harrods, and it wasn't that good, to be honest. But it was just kind of a last minute, like, look for something near Harrods, because we just wanted to go down there and see all the decorations and whatnot. So I also posted this to my Instagram stories, but I did end up picking the Prada Foundation up. I got it in the shade, what does it say on here? So if you haven't seen this before, it does come with like a reusable component like that, which is very nice looking. But then it also has like refill bottles. So I'm just laughing because, you know, the whole idea of this video is, you know, these are the things I bought abroad that you can't necessarily get in the States. And I heard rumblings that Prada Beauty was coming to Sephora, but they recently announced, very recently, that their products are going to be coming to Sephora, I think the 15th of January, maybe. So if you are interested in this, you can get it at Sephora and get shade matched, I guess. I'm not sure if they'll be in store or online. But anyway, they had a counter at Harrods where I got shade matched. I remember the first shade that the assistant applied, as frequently happened, it looked pretty peach. So I went for this one, LC5. This might be the lightest cool toned option, and I think it's a pretty good match. So I spent 49 pounds on this, and I guess I'll insert like the conversion down at the bottom of the screen. I think because I was able to go in store and buy it and not have to pay for shipping or whatever, it ended up being cheaper than it would have been to purchase it over here. I think even now that it's at Sephora, I think it's like $77 or something. So anyway, yeah, so I did save a little bit of money doing that. That's one thing I wanted to mention. If you're buying anything overseas that you know is also sold in the States, sometimes it's cheaper overseas and sometimes it's not. So it may just be worthwhile to check, do the conversion and everything, and just see in which country you get the better deal. Because brands just kind of price things differently for whatever reason. So yeah, so this is the first time I've worn this. I like it. I don't think I love it. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this one. Charlotte Holdcroft, Kackie, and Sofia, I think her name is. I think all had this in like their best of lists. And I just kind of picked it up kind of out of curiosity because it was there, and, you know, I've been curious about it basically. So looking at the Sephora website, it says a skin optimizing foundation that refines the skin in 3 dimensions, including tone, luminosity, and texture to reveal soft filtered skin in real life. It's supposed to have a medium matte finish. So I did apply it today over, I'm just trying to use up this little travel size of the Rose Inc Luminous Serum, which is a very dewy, hydrating base. So even though I powdered, it does still look quite dewy. I might try it with a different kind of priming step next time, just to kind of see how the finish varies. But what I don't like about it is that the ingredients, it's one of those, yeah, skin optimizing foundations. It's one of those that says it includes skincare ingredients. So it says it has vitamin E, which is fine. Also has niacinamide, which can cause irritation. And I'm kind of flirting, I guess you would say, with the niacinamide to see how different products do on my skin and what amount I can tolerate. I didn't realize this had niacinamide in it, so I used the Ordinary Barrier Support Serum earlier today. So if I'd known this had niacinamide, I might not have done that. I can feel a little bit of that kind of like irritation almost. It says it also includes a lactobacillus extract complex. So, and that's one of the reasons why I don't love it when foundations have ingredients like that that are supposed to improve the skin. Like if it's something like glycerin or something that just makes the makeup look better on the skin, then that's great. But I don't usually apply my skincare right before my makeup or have all the products at the same place. So I don't want to have to take into account like what products have what ingredients. I would rather just kind of focus on my skincare and figure out what routine I want to do for that, and then apply the makeup separately. So that's kind of a little bit of a pet peeve. I believe this also does have, it has denatured alcohol, which you may or may not like. That's the 4th ingredient, I believe. And then it also has dimethicones. It does have fragrance, so it has limonene, geraniol, citronellol. And when I was applying it, it had like a almost like apothecary smell to it, which I guess in my experience, I think geraniol, citronellol, I think those may be more like floral citrus type fragrance ingredients. But yeah, I was getting kind of an apothecary smell. And granted, I do have a cold, so my sense of smell may be somewhat off. I'm not like so congested that I can't smell anything. yeah, I was not a huge fan of that. And then the last thing, it does have a chemical sunscreen. I believe it's Ensulazole 2.7%, which I am not familiar with that one. I typically avoid avobenzone because I feel like in the past that one has irritated my skin. I am less particular with some others like octinoxate or octocrylene, one of those. The O chemical sunscreens I'm generally okay with. So I'm not really sure, I guess, how I feel about that one. But yeah, I'll continue to try this out, but that's just my kind of initial thoughts. Also at Harrods, I did pick up the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer, and this is basically because I got a Prada bag, by the way. And the woman at the counter gave me various samples of, I guess, Prada skincare, which I probably won't use. They put fragrance in their makeup. I can only imagine what they put in their skincare. But yeah, I picked up the primer because I brought over this little sample size of the Ulta Beauty eye primer, and I went to use it, and it just seemed like it's either like empty or dried out, one of those. So that was kind of a packing fail. I just need to toss that. Interestingly enough, so I do have the full size of that primer. This one from Hourglass does remind me a lot of the Ulta Beauty one. So if you were looking for a dupe, this is one with just like the nozzle that you kind of dispense like that. Really good if you want to keep things sanitary, but you can end up wasting product. So I'll just show you, this one has a skinnier nozzle, I think, for what it's worth. The tone is a little bit different. The tone doesn't actually like totally cancel out your eyelids or anything. And the Hourglass one might have a little bit more, I don't want to say it's matte, but maybe it's just less emollient, I guess. So I guess I wouldn't say they're like total dupes, but they do function pretty similarly. I think I still prefer the Fenty eye primer just for like ease of use. And I was also going to say when I was talking about the foundation that the Fenty foundation stick is what I used whenever I did my makeup in London, and this to me has a very similar finish to the Prada. It's in a stick, so it's pretty kind of quick and easy to apply. I even used the same brush I used to apply the Prada foundation, the BK 106 brush. So yeah, so this was really quick and easy. If I were doing any kind of, you know, December favorites, foundation favorites, whatever, this would probably be pretty high up there. So I don't know. I think for the level of coverage you get from the Prada and the finish, I would suggest taking a look at the Fenty if you haven't already. And they do have sales pretty frequently. It's also in stick form, which makes it really nice for travel. I think the component is recyclable as well. So this one, it has dimethicone, it has muru seed butter, it's interesting, caprylic caprylic triglyceride, sodium hyaluronate. So I think this is actually really good for dry skin. Doesn't have any fragrance, doesn't have any sunscreen or denatured alcohol. So yeah, if I had to choose, I would probably go with this. But anyway, that's just my hot take there. Yeah, and same with the Hourglass primer. Like, I'm glad that I was able to satisfy my curiosity, but I think the Ulta one does a very similar thing for a lot less money. So I would probably go with that. And this is one product too. This was 29 pounds. I think it was more expensive to buy it over there, but this was just more of a necessity. Like, I was kind of stranded without one. So yeah, so that was Saturday. Sunday, my father-in-law made a roast. We just kind of hung out. And then Monday, we flew to Germany. So we flew out of Stansted Airport via Ryanair, which was interesting. I had never flown on Ryanair before. And Germany is where we started to get into trouble with mugs, in particular, drinking vessels. So just to back up a little bit, obviously we go to London a lot because my in-laws live there and my husband's family and whatever, so we go to visit them, but we also, you know, enjoy London for what it has to offer. And we've talked a lot, because we do go for a more extended period of time, about taking little, like, quick trips away because, you know, it breaks up the trip a little bit. It gives my in-laws a break from, like, dealing with us, and it just, you know, once you're in Europe, it's reasonably inexpensive to get around. It's a little bit more difficult now that Brexit has happened. But anyway, I had wanted to go to Nuremberg, especially because it was like the biggest city, I guess, near where my dad was stationed in the army when I was a kid. So our last tour over there, I think I was about 8 or 9 when we came back. Forget what year it was exactly, but I think it was in between 3rd and 4th grade for me. So I have fond memories of the Christkindlmarkt, and I definitely wanted to kind of go back and experience it as an adult. And if for whatever reason you're contemplating doing something similar, either you're doing an extended trip in Europe, or I don't think I would fly internationally just to go to Nuremberg. You'd probably want to combine it with some other cities. But flying from Stansted to Nuremberg was pretty easy. Getting to the Stansted airport, I think, was the hardest part, actually. But there was a direct flight from Stansted to Nuremberg. They have a pretty, it's a smaller airport, but it's a decent one. And they also have public transport that goes directly from the airport to basically the center of town. So it's pretty easy, and lodging, like the hotel was not too expensive even during the Christmas season, and food and that kind of thing was not too bad either. So if you can make it happen, I do highly encourage it. They have a very big Christmas market, and of course they have the Glühwein. I actually purchased this in the States. I don't know if this was from Wegmans or Trader Joe's. But yeah, this is the Nuremberg Glühwein, so that is basically where we went. So I just wanted to show you that, and I usually pick up a bottle every year just in case I feel like drinking it. It can be a little on the sweet side, but if you feel like you want some mulled wine, it basically tastes the same as it does in Nuremberg. I mean, they probably make it commercially now, but anyway. So talking about mugs, so this is probably the silliest, most American thing I could do, but I did pick up 2 of the Starbucks You Are Here mugs. So my husband and I collect these, and this one that they have, I like this one better than the Germany one. So you know how they have city-specific ones, and then they also have country ones. But this has Nuremberg. You can see their like skinny little bratwurst that they do, and of course they have like the Lebkuchen represented Christmas tree. So Lebkuchen is gingerbread, essentially. So yeah, and I also got, I tried a little bit of my German, rusty though it is, just to be kind of polite, All the German I have, I learned basically in the States coming back because, I knew a few things as a kid, but I took it as my language in high school and college. So yeah, I tried a bit, and most of the time they responded in English, which is fine. But it did kind of make me feel, I guess, a little bit more comfortable, just kind of, I don't know, reading street signs and that kind of thing. I've told my husband that we need to go to Greece just so I can benefit from whatever, like, lingering language abilities he has. His mother was... Is it second generation when you're the first generation born in a country? She was born in England, but her parents came over from Cyprus, and my husband's dad grew up in Athens, basically. So anyway, so my in-laws speak Greek to each other, which is interesting. And then this is the Germany mug. I think that's supposed to be Neuschwanstein. We have some beer, soccer ball, Brandenburg Gate, more bratwurst, of course, and I'm not sure what the rest of it is. But anyway, got those, and then of course we also got the mini one, which would have been the much more sensible thing to pick up. Maybe I could have just gotten this instead of the larger Germany mug, but anyway, one day I'll have a way to display all my Starbucks mugs, I guess. I do love miniature things. What tickled me especially was that one of their seasonal drinks was a Lebkuchen latte, which I ordered. Of course, they set it back as like a gingerbread latte, which isn't quite as fun, but yeah, Nuremberg is known, I think, as being a Lebkuchen manufacturer, and that's another thing I usually pick up, at least a packet of Lebkuchen from like Trader Joe's or World Market, one of those kinds of retailers. Generally, have at least one packet a holiday season. So yes, we got those, and then these were the mugs that you get to drink Glühwein out of. So what you do is you basically pay a deposit for the mug, and when you want to refill, you give them your dirty mug and they give you a clean one, or I guess at the end of the night you can get your deposit back. This one says on the inside, mugs. Now I need to look that up, what that means. I meant to do it earlier, but I forgot. Yeah, I tried to use Google Translate a bit over there and it didn't really work out for me. There was a, I think it's slang. Oh, would you like another is the local German dialect. Okay. That is very helpful. Yeah, I did see an American couple in front of a restaurant. I think it might have been a mother and son actually. You trying to use Google Translate to read a menu, which was really kind of endearing actually. Anyway, German serving vessels, I guess, they usually have like the fill lines. This was, I guess, 0.2 liters was how much you got. And they have a very nice decorated, again, a representation of the market, and that's kind of the mascot, if you will. Yeah, and then it's dated on the bottom, so you could collect these. I think my parents still have some from when I was a kid. So yeah, we carefully wrapped those and took them back. They also had another place. If any of you are German speakers out there, forgive me because I do my best, but I think it's Die Nürnberger Feuerzangenbowle. So it's like supposedly the biggest punch bowl in the world, and they have like flame, like something is lit on fire. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, this I think I actually preferred the taste of to this. This one might have been more alcoholic for whatever reason. But yeah, we brought back 2 of these as well. This one is like a metallic finish. So yeah, that was the beginning of our mug odyssey there. Let's see, what else did I get? Also at the market, I was kind of kicking myself because there was one ornament at the market, one of the stalls, that I really wanted to get. But then I think I saw it. We arrived at like 5 or 6 p.m. on whatever night it was, Monday, I guess. So we kind of did an initial, walk around and that kind of thing. Had our first, I think, bratwurst and Glühwein. And then we had a full day Tuesday, and then Wednesday we left. And I think that ended up being about as much time as we really wanted. If we'd had another day, I probably would have done some more generic shopping, that kind of thing, but it's fine. So I have some like flyers and things I can show you too. But anyway, this was the brand, and I will say it was especially apparent to me. We walked around London a bit, and they have like, I know, a Christmas market in Leicester Square, and the thing I love about the Nuremberg one is that it just feels a lot more authentic. There's a lot more kind of like locally made, handmade items instead of everything just being kind of like imported, mass-produced crap. So yeah, so brands like this had their booth or whatever. And I'm guessing it's Inga Glass manufacturing, handmade in Germany. And I guess they have 3 stores, one in Berlin, one in Bamberg, and one in Potsdam. So I just picked this up because it talked about, it's the legend of the pickle, Die Weihnachtsgurke, like the Christmas pickle. And it says, the original custom brings the spirit of gift giving to life. The lucky person is the one who finds the glass pickle first, which is hidden in the branches of the Christmas tree. Whoever finds the pickle is rewarded with an additional gift. The cheery pickle game is popular among children and grown-ups, where the larger pickle is reserved for the little ones and the smaller pickle for the older ones. Okay, so I guess, your level of difficulty goes up. We wish you lots of joy searching for the pickle together. Oh, it says Christmas decorations with the star crown, I guess is their kind of registered trademark or whatever. Hand-blown, hand-painted, handmade in Germany. Yeah, so they had one that had like the Lebkuchen heart, like a decorated gingerbread heart that had Nuremberg on it, which I wanted to pick up, but it was sold out. So instead I got 2 other little ones because I wanted to get something. And this one says Ich liebe dich, and that is what that looks like. So it says I love you. So it would have basically looked like this, but instead of saying Ich liebe dich, it would have been Nuremberg basically. But I thought that was, you know, close. And then apparently they also have like a year ornament that they release, like a designated one for each year. And if I'd known that, I probably would have purchased that one, but I didn't realize at the time. And the other little one I got is just another little like gingerbread star. So I thought that was cute and not too expensive. So yeah, so I just got, like I said, I collect ornaments, and they are, like I said, handmade and actually from Germany, which is nice. So in the day on Tuesday, because the market, I mean, it's open during the day, but it looks more festive and exciting at night. So we kind of walked up, and it was a bit of a hike. The Imperial Castle in Nuremberg, which is like a, let's see. It was built around 1200, and it was an important part of the Holy Roman Empire. So we didn't go inside or anything, but we just kind of walked up and took some pictures of the view and everything because it's like on a hill. So we walked up, and I did pick up a cookie cutter in the shape of the castle, and it says it has recipe and facts inside. So for this trip, you know, my nostalgic memories, like I said, is kind of Lebkuchen, bratwurst, although I didn't really like bratwurst when I was a kid. I usually just ate the roll, the brötchen that came in. Glühwein I was kind of aware of because my parents were drinking, but wasn't really my thing as an 8-year-old. But yeah, that is the castle. I don't know how much I'll actually use this, but I just thought it was a really neat, they do have it in English as well. Yeah, so that's like the recipe and the like little summary of it. So anyway, it wasn't too expensive. I thought it was a nice, unique kind of memento. If I can get this thing back in. And then we also went to the Albrecht Dürer house, I think is how you say it. And he is kind of Nuremberg's most famous, I mean, I guess other than the Nazis, but their most famous resident. Like the airport is named after him. So I didn't get much. We did the tour. They had like an audio tour and everything, but they did give you a free postcard. So that's a representation of how the house looks. Unfortunately, a lot of his actual artwork has left Germany. It seemed like a lot of it was in Madrid, but they'd had a lot of like replicas and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, this is some of his, I guess, most famous artwork. He also, I remember, I think, studying him, I took an art history course in college, like the rabbit and then his self-portrait, I think, are two of his most famous pieces. And then he had his, like, they called it almost like a trademark. Like the way he did his initials was kind of a famous, an early, I don't know, identifier. They have like a little tourist center that sold a few things. So I also have a very soft spot in my heart for Playmobil. I think it's a German-made toy company. When I was a kid, it was Playmobil and Lego, basically. So that's a Playmobil of Albrecht Dürer, and that's the tourismusnürnberg.de. Is, I guess, the tourism website, but you can see him painting his self-portrait there. Unfortunately, this one got a little bit kind of smashed in my husband's suitcase, but whatever, I'll live. And then this was just a little Lebkuchen guy. They also had like Martin Luther for whatever reason, but I don't have any kind of strong affinity for Martin Luther, so I didn't pick up that one. I got a t-shirt for my niece and some other magnets maybe. I just thought that was really cute. Nuremberg, Deutschland, and then his little face flaps up so you can see his teeth. So I don't know, I thought she would get a kick out of that. She is turning 5 in January, in a few weeks, I think. So I'll just kind of give that to her when I see her then. And then what else did I pick up? I don't remember. Oh, okay, I think my husband picked out some of these. I guess this is like the city seal or crest or whatever. So I got that. This one is a nice one. It has kind of a 3-dimensional effect to it. And one thing about Nuremberg as well that's kind of distinctive is they have these like prune people. They're made out of like prunes and walnuts. And oh, that says a Diptyque on there too. That's good. I like the ornament I picked up. But yeah, that is kind of a craft that they have that's very kind of traditional. I remember them when I was a kid. We almost got one for my father-in-law, but I wasn't sure how long-lived they were, like if they were just kind of a one-season thing or what. So we didn't get any. I was also a little worried that they wouldn't make it back. I guess my husband picked out this one. It's a Stein. Says Nuremberg on it. These were probably made in China or something. I don't think these are like super artisan type things. Did get a little nutcracker. Nutcrackers are also an important thing to me. I collect them, and I'll talk about one in a minute. This was like a bottle opener. Like I said, my husband picked out some of these. And then I just got this kind of little basic like Lebkuchen ornament. So yeah, just picked up some of those. It was a little shop on the main, what do they call it? Like Hauptplatz or something, like the main market square or whatever. And yeah, Hauptmarkt. So that is the brand that the store that we visited apparently has been there since 1865. Germany is really cool because it's just a different like style of architecture than you'd see in like London or Paris. It's different, so it's kind of cool. And I guess this was I always bring back bags. Does anyone else? At least to show you guys. This is the bag from the tourism shop and info center. So it says cool since 1471. So I thought that was kind of cool. This is just another thing from the glass people. It looks like they might have some kind of like historical Christmas museum, if my German is accurate. So yeah, and then this was from the airport. So I'll talk about that in a second. I already mentioned the gin I got. And then I guess for other little souvenirs, I got 3 of these ornaments. They're kind of little basic ones, but I got one for me, one for my brother and sister-in-law, and one for my parents. Because obviously my brother, he would have been like 6 or so when we left, so he doesn't have as sharp of memories as I do. But anyway, he remembers being in Germany, so I got him one of those. They also had this Twin Cities type market where I guess they had different vendors from all around the world. This was, I guess, a map for the market, just to give you a sense of kind of scale. And that is kind of the, what's it called? Like city center. And we stayed, I put pictures up on Instagram of where we were, but you could basically see the sign. We stayed at the Des Paul Hotel, which was pretty good. I think it was good for the price, especially, and how like convenient it was. I think in the future we might splurge a little bit more on a hotel, but it was perfectly fine and comfortable and everything. So, I picked up, I guess, a postcard. You know, when you go into one of those tourist centers, you just kind of grab everything. Oh, and I guess one other thing I wanted to mention, so that same like shop I showed you, my husband did pick up a Stein, which actually was made in Germany. So, you know, there's that. But this one was cool. I think that is supposed to be the Albrecht Dürer house. It was one of the few buildings. Oh no, that's the Dürer house. It actually has a name on it. Yeah, so one of the few buildings, I guess, that survived the World War II and the bombing and everything. So that's the Lorenzkirche. That was close to where we stayed. So yeah, brought back an official German Stein. We did pick up some of the Lebkuchen and Fruchtbrot, which is kind of a fruit cake, I guess you would say, but we left that in London. It wouldn't have made it back, I don't think, in one piece. So I went to I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. Is it Kata Wolfart? So it's a Christmas shop that is pretty well known. They actually, I think, have some US locations, and my brother lives in Baltimore, and they have a Christmas market that's pretty decent actually for a city of its size. Yeah, and I think they usually have a booth or something. So I wanted to get a nutcracker while I was over there. And these things are pretty expensive. This one that I got is on the smaller side, which is probably good for packing reasons. But this was 150 euro. Just this little guy. Isn't he cute though? Look at his little, his Lebkuchen. That's what really sold it for me. He's not a traditional nutcracker, but I just thought he was really cute. I could have gotten some money back in the tax-free part in the airport, but I didn't bother. There was one really beautiful one. There's the back. That, yeah, it says made in Germany as well. Like a really beautiful like white nutcracker that I think was like 400 euro or something. Yeah, it was kind of on my bucket list to pick one up in Germany. I'm sure it will not be the last nutcracker I purchase in my life. You can't obviously buy them over here. I just wanted to say that I purchased one in Germany. Buying any larger ones in the States would probably make more sense. The shop itself was not huge. I guess they have, let's see, they have one in Stillwater. I think that's in Florida in the US. In Great Britain, they have one in York. They have one in Belgium, in Bruges, France, Spain, have one in Barcelona. So, but I think you can't order from them online and things. So anyway, good place to check out. Oh, this is the fire bowl I was telling you about with those mugs. So you can see that kind of flame right there. A lot of free postcards this trip, which is always fun. So I think that was basically it for the Germany souvenirs. That was kind of the part of the trip we were looking forward to because it was new. But like I said, I did pick up one gin from the Germany duty free. This is the rhubarb and ginger one. You can see I've already gotten into it. That was about 2 drinks worth for what it's worth. I've restrained myself from drinking more of it. Like I said, I'm trying to do dry January, and being sick has also kind of helped with not wanting to have any gin and tonics. So yeah, so that was basically it for Germany. Coming back, the day we got back, we walked down to the local Boots store, which is like a CVS equivalent, but it's like CVS and Ulta and Sephora all kind of rolled into one, if that makes sense. Like they carry high-end makeup. You can go on their website and see. So one of my goals in going to England was to pick up this doggone Laura Mercier foundation. So you're probably thinking, this is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. You're probably thinking this is sold in Sephora and Ulta over here. What's the big deal? The shade 0C1 Opal is not sold over here for whatever reason. I can't figure it out. So you can order this. The other ones just seemed like they were going to be way too yellow whenever I swatched them. They have like I think it's 0N1 and 0W1. I haven't worn this yet. I'll just do a quick little swatch. So I think this is the lightest cool tone shade. I might have to go through my, it's even looking a little too peach actually, but we'll see how it goes. I'll have to go through my like stash of foundation samples to see if I do have a shade of 0N1. I might also go down to Sephora. So basically I have a full face of Laura Mercier, or nearly full face, planned to film, especially now that tomorrow actually, as I'm filming this, they're releasing the concealer equivalent, which was another example of Laura Mercier just seeming to kind of spite me, because the shade that would probably be mine, the one that coordinates to this and 0N1, was not available for sale. Like they had all the other shades. I think it was a mistake on their part, but they had all the other shades available, but that one particular shade on the Sephora website was not available. So it was just like, all right, I'll just have to wait until it officially launches. Yeah, so you'll see my thoughts on this in a future video. That was 38 pounds, by the way. I'm not sure, that might have been about the same as what it is over here. I want to say it's like $48 maybe, but it was the case where I can't get it really over here. Mine is purchasing it from like Space & K or something and having it shipped. So I decided to just do that. And then also from Boots, I did pick up this Armani Blush in the shade 10. This is the one that Kackie always talks about, and I think at one point it was on the Armani website, but it hasn't been for a good long while. So it is a really pretty shade. And I did get these two shades in this little set. So this is my third blush. This is in 10, like I said, third shade in this product. So yeah, so I'm wearing this today. I have some other cheek products on as well, but yeah, I am wearing this today. I took application footage, so I'll insert that, but so far I like it. I knew I liked the formula before, and again, I just wanted to kind of hunt this down. This, I think I got it for 29 pounds. I think Boots had some kind of deal where I got 25% off certain things. So this was kind of again, probably about the same as what I would have paid in the US with the exchange rate and everything, but it was more accessible over there. And then the last thing is what I have on my eyes. So I picked up another one of these YSL Couture mini clutches because, I don't know, I have a desire to cause myself pain, I guess. So I got this was 25% off. So I think this was 36.75 pounds, which made it a lot cheaper than it would have been in dollars with the conversion rate. I had picked up, let's see, this one was the first one I got. This was the shade 100 Stora Dolls. And I talked about in a video that I liked the formulas, I just didn't like, I guess, the combination, I guess. So this is the more taupey color story. I have to hunt down those little things. I think this one on the whole, like the metallic shade is maybe a little bit more exciting. This was 600 Spontina Lilies. So this is what I have on my face. That's the prettier side on my face today. And the reason I chose this one primarily, it does have 3 more matte shades, which are nice. And it has that kind of more shimmery shade, I guess. So the finishes are not as exciting, but having more matte shades I think is helpful in creating a look. And I picked this one up because it was peachy, and I do plan to do another Pantone color of the year for Peach Fuzz at some point. So I thought, I don't like how they don't stay up. I thought this would be a good one to try out. And it's also Spontini Lilies, and my niece's name is Lily. So I just kind of got it for that little sentimental reason as well. And I just generally wanted to try another palette. I'm not huge into designer eyeshadow because they don't always give me what I want, especially with like the quads and the quints, the more kind of limited color stories. But everyone was just kind of obsessed with those, so I wanted to give it another shot. So then on Thursday, so we walked down to Piccadilly, and again we had tea at the Wolseley, which is honestly my top recommendation for tea in London if you are planning on going anytime soon. Good service, good quality food, not the like flashiest or most exciting food, but very like classic flavors done really well. Service is good, and it's right next to the Ritz, so compared to the Ritz prices, it's a bargain. So it's also beautiful inside, so highly recommend the Wolseley. My husband says that it's one of his Christmas traditions to go there, although I think next Christmas we're probably gonna stay in the States. But anyway, we went to Waterstones, which is, you know, just a book chain. I think they own Barnes & Noble now, actually. But anyway, I picked up a couple books. These ones were on the smaller side. They were 10 pounds each, and the National Trust is, I think it's a government organization, but you know, it's basically just like a historic preservation organization. And I've talked before about my love of tea. So they had various books in this kind of vein. So I think these were like 10 pounds each. Yeah, afternoon tea is a national pastime. So I got the Book of Afternoon Tea, the Book of Jam, the Book of Scones. I don't know why you need a whole book for scones, but there's that. And finally, the Book of Puddings. I think they do have additional books like this. It's probably a good thing that I only saw 4 to take back, but I do collect cookbooks, so I wanted to pick those up. I think last time around I picked up a book, was it the Royal Palaces collection or something on afternoon tea? But anyway, yeah, I'd like to pick those up. And then of course we also went to Fortnum's, Fortnum and Mason. And if you are ever going to London, you have to go to Fortnum's and Mason. I'm making it a decree. It's, how do I describe it? It's like a huge, it's like Williams Sonoma on steroids kind of thing. Williams Sonoma, but they also have like a beauty section. So I pulled, let's see, this is their store guide. I think they have a special festive one that they came out with. Yeah, it has, you can see like 4 floors, more even. And they have a beauty section. They have like homewares. They have food. They have their own gin distillery that I'll talk about. So yeah, it's kind of like the Harrods food hall. Harrods is huge. Fortnum's isn't as big as Harrods. But anyway, great store. I think they were founded in 1707. And they always do a cool thing at Christmas. They always have like the year on the side of their building. And then at Christmas, they have different numbers on their windows, basically counting down like an advent calendar. So really, really cool store. Okay, so I got this bag, obviously, packed full of Christmas. So they called them their bags for life, where I guess if anything happens to them, they will replace it for free, which is cool. And this is like their more typical shopping bag, very distinctive color. And they still have like the Queen Elizabeth and Prince of Wales, what are they called? Royal warrants. So they need to, I guess, update those. But they do have a very strong connection to the King and Highgrove. So this is what the Wolseley looks like on the outside, by the way. Another postcard. I think you had to donate something for that, but that was fine. So one thing I got, this was a gift that I have yet to send off. This is for my colleague who was covering for me for a couple weeks, and I know I had one case in particular that was causing a lot of trouble, so I wanted to get her something nice. But this is a cookie or biscuit tin. It also has music box component. So yeah, so that's like what part of the outside of the store looks like, and they always do really fun windows and everything. Plays handles water music, I guess is. So anyway, I just wanted to get her something nice. I also got, well, that's still tinkering away. I got 3 of their chocolate bars. These are not cheap. I think they're about 6 or 7 pounds, but I like to splurge. So I got one for her, The Obedience of Bubbles the dog, milk chocolate filled with Marc de Champagne. Hopefully she'll like that. I haven't tried that particular one. And then I got this one, Beneath the Amber Moon. This one is filled with English malt whiskey, so I just wanted to see what that's like. My husband is a big whiskey drinker. And then this one, She Dreams in Marmalade, dark chocolate with orange pieces. I love chocolate and orange together. So yeah, I just got a few of those to nibble on. And then this is the tea I've been drinking. This is their Nocturne Botanical Infusion. It says, for rare moments of rest and relaxation. It has lemon balm, chamomile, and lavender flowers. So I like herbal tea at night, and this is what I've been drinking, by the way, in this thing. For all the mugs I buy, I still just use my Ember mug because it keeps it warm. But yeah, really, really nice tin. These have like an inner lid for whatever reason with a little bee on it, which is cute. So it's this style of tea bag. This one, I guess when you really stick your nose in it, it smells more like chamomile, but when I first took a whiff of it, it smelled a bit like feet. So, you know, it's not anything special, I guess, in terms of the flavor or whatever, but I like the tin, so I bought it. It's a tea that I know I will consume. I drink, lately since I've been sick, I have been drinking more black tea, but normally I'm more of a coffee drinker, except for afternoon tea, of course. And then for the other type of beverage, so I don't know if they had these last time, but they had, these are basically refills. They're aluminum bottles of gin. And I think I showed you, I had the smaller bottles of their gin last time. So this one is the Amalthea Pink Gin, and this one is the Amalthea Dry Gin. So this one has notes of rhubarb, rose petals, grapefruit peel, cardamom seeds, hibiscus flowers, and Fortnum's Earl Grey Classic Tea. This one has grapefruit peel, licorice root, Fortnum's Monarch Marmalade, and Fortnum's Earl Grey Classic Tea. So these are brewed on site. I'm not sure I can decipher the handwriting, but yeah, the good thing about these is they're much lighter and more compact than the glass bottles. I think these are meant to be refills, but it ended up working out. These are each 50 centiliters. Is that accurate? I don't know, but it was the same amount as the glass bottles and they ended up being a lot lighter. So that was a win, even though they're not quite as pretty to look at. So I got those. My mom did very well this trip and she doesn't even know it. So I got her a lot of gifts. I'd been familiar with this brand before. This is Elizabeth Scarlett, but I'd never purchased anything. And my mom is a huge giraffe lover of animals in general. But I just got her this pouch. It was something I'd kind of been aware of before, but I guess I was just feeling spendy, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. It has a dust bag, which was nice to make sure that it stays well protected before I give it to her. In all honesty, I probably won't give it to her until like her birthday in September. Yeah, her birthday in September or even like Christmas, because I have other things that I picked up for her as well. But yeah, my mom is probably, and I don't know if it's because, you know, I'm a woman as well, I just see things more easily, but my mom is probably the easiest person in my family to buy for. And just the nature of the stores that I like to go to too, I see more things. So yeah, I got that pouch, and then this was 25-pound like impulse buy at the checkout kind of lane or line. I'd seen this before, and it was always kind of, you know, in the back of my mind to pick up. But this is a tea timer. So I just thought this would be really nice, you know, for any future teas that I host. So the idea is that it says time for tea. It's really well made. It has 3 different hourglasses. There's a black, white, and green. So the time is different depending on which tea it is. So black tea takes longer to brew. So they suggest brewing black tea for 5, white tea for 3, and green tea for 2 minutes. So it would be a nice thing just to kind of set on the table so people know when their tea is ready to drink, because obviously it needs some time to steep. And this last thing from Fortnum & Mason, I didn't actually pick up at the main store. I picked it up from, they have a little store in like King's Cross, St. Pancras. And we'd gone to St. Pancras to see like the trees, because they had a special like book tree, and then they also had like a Harry Potter tree at King's Cross. So we went to kind of see the decorations. We also went to Cersei's for lunch, basically. But yeah, we came across this little Fortnum store, and I think this tea towel, I either didn't see it at the main store or was out of stock, but this is basically the same kind of design as the bag. It says packed full of Christmas. My thought, because I collect tea towels, but I don't use them as, you know, towels. One day I want to like frame them, but it would be nice to have like a frame that you could open easily and like replace them, you know what I mean? So that I can switch them out for different seasons or whatnot. So yeah, I picked up one of these. I also got one of these for my father-in-law. Again, just as a kind of nice little gift for him. And I think that was it for Fortnum's. And then we went to Liberty in Soho. I've talked about Liberty's before. They have this very kind of distinctive purple bags and everything. And I did have a larger bag as well, but I ended up leaving it behind for space reasons. I just wanted to kind of give you a feel for it. I think you can also order from them in the States and have it shipped. But anyway, so from Liberty's, I finally picked up the Jones Road bronzer in the shade Dusty Rose. And that is what I am wearing on my face today. Yeah, because it was so much easier to go in and pick this up in person rather than, is it their website is the only place you can get it in the States? And it's like a free shipping threshold of like $80 or something. So I just wanted to just go and buy it basically. And this was 32 pounds. I'm not sure exactly how that works out, but yeah, that is what I'm wearing today. I think the verdict is still out on this, but I was definitely glad to pick it up. I have kind of a bit of an obsession with rosy bronzers, like the Gucci bronzer, and I do need to pick up the, is it Laura Geller one, I think. Jen Phelps talks about it a lot. So yeah, I finally got this one, so I was glad to do that. I stopped by the Lisa Eldridge counter just to kind of scope it out, and I would have purchased the Velvet Matte Lipstick in Duchess. This was before Christmas, so I probably would have worn it on Christmas. I think it's a little bit deeper, a little bit more wearable than Velvet Ribbon. Yeah, so I would have picked that up. It was also a lipstick that was worn in The Crown. I want to say the actress playing it, Queen Elizabeth, wore it, if I remember correctly, but they were out of stock of that shade. Go figure, a nice red for the holidays, right? They were out of stock. So I just, let that go. I might pick it up at some point in the future. And then, where did I put it? Like I said, my mother did very well this trip. She doesn't even know it. And we also made very poor purchasing decisions when it comes to souvenirs. So I got her this book. She is a quilter, Quilting with Liberty Fabrics. This one is still shrink wrapped, so I don't want to take it out and kind of mess it up, but it is actually like a book with a case, and they had one in the store that was unwrapped, so I was able to kind of flip through it. But yeah, it has different quilting patterns, 15 quilts celebrating 145 years in fabric. And on the back here it says, "Nobody has a casual fling with Liberty Fabrics. It is a true romance. We speak of iconic prints as if they are cherished friends. The beauty of each individual design brings us joy. The charming, unique motifs, brimming with history, keep on drawing us back for more." And this has US and Canada prices on it, so maybe I could have bought it over here, but that's fine. I think it was on sale as well, if I recall. So I got her that, and then I also got her just a little, I want to say these are called like fat quarters or something. I don't quilt, so I don't know, but I just thought that was a nice pattern that she could incorporate into something just to give her a feel for it. Quilting fabric is not cheap. I don't know how much this was, but yeah, she can play around with that. I think I bought her various like Liberty print, what are they called, notions, like pin cushions and various things like that before, so I think she's aware of Liberty even if she's never been. Okay, and then also speaking about historic British crafts and gifts from moms, how's that a segue for you? One of my favorite places to go in London is the V&A Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum. Is kind of like the Met is like my best comparison, I guess. Great museum. It's free as well, so that's always good. However, they do have special exhibits, like most museums, where you have to pay to see them. And they had a Chanel exhibit that was like sold out. I took a lot of photos. Really cool stuff. After the fact, my husband was complaining that he spent 4 hours looking at dresses, and then I looked at my like timestamps on my photos, and I'm like, we were there for an hour and a half. Like, chill, dude. But anyway, his mom and his aunt are also big fans of the V&A. In fact, my husband's aunt, his cousin, gives her a membership to the V&A every year, which gets you free access to the exhibits, and you don't need reservations or tickets or anything to them. You also get various other perks, like they have a special members, what do they call it, members room, just like a special cafe type thing. So we bought my mother-in-law a membership to the V&A, and because they had one that was like, they had various options. One was basically where you got 2 different cards. So each card holder can bring a guest. So we got her one, and then I got my very own V&A membership, which is pretty cool. And it lasts through the end of this year, 2024. So yeah, it was kind of silly in a way to buy a membership just to visit that exhibit, but the bulk of the present was really for my mother-in-law. And then I think you also get like 10% off at the gift shop, so I took advantage of that. I just picked up this little fan. Kind of gave me like Bridgerton vibes, so I wanted to just pick that up as kind of a little decorative object. It was like £5. So got that, and then like I said, my mother did very well. This was a like more traditional, I guess, stack of fat quarters, but I thought wherever I put that other fabric that I just had, I thought if she wanted to, she could possibly use both. This one is like a holiday themed set, Yuletide Bloom by William Morris. And William Morris is a very famous, I think it's like the arts and crafts movement. He's like a 19th century like illustrator, designer kind of thing. So anyway, so I thought, you know, some traditional patterns. I think last time around I showed you a little book I have of different designs. But this was basically half off. So I got 10% off of that. Yeah, I don't think my mom will ever say no to more fabric. So I got that. And then I just got this set of different Christmas cards. I guess I can send these out next year, but they had 20 Christmas cards, 5 each of 4 designs with the envelopes. And basically we got these so we'd have something to put my mother-in-law's little card into to give to her. So that was really the reason why we got them. But I'll, I guess, send them out next year. And on here it says, inspired by the V&A, celebrating creativity, the V&A is the world's leading museum of art, design, and performance. And in addition to the Chanel exhibit, like they have a lot of kind of fashion exhibits. They also had one that we checked out. It was called Diva. So it's basically a lot of like stage costumes that like Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Elton John, like different like elaborate things that they've worn. And then they also had this really cool thing, and it went back, I think, actually to like the 19th century and like opera divas and like the rise of, I think, was it Jenny Lind? I think she was Swedish, and I think, if I'm recalling correctly, I think she's a character in The Greatest Showman. So yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, they gave you these headphones, these like wireless headphones, and they were somehow triggered to play different music, like the music of whichever artist you were looking at, based on where you were. So the music kind of constantly changed without you doing anything. So that was kind of a cool design. Yeah, Jenny Lind, played by Rebecca Ferguson. So yeah, that was a very cool exhibit if you are into that. Definitely high on my list of recommendations. And by the way, if you have any questions about visiting London, if you're thinking about planning a trip or you're just curious, I'd be happy to address those. The last thing from the V&A, I got this William Morris, again, cross stitch, which I've already kind of cracked into. So this is probably his most well-known and one of my favorite designs of his, the Strawberry Thief. It's a little bird nibbling on strawberries. So this is a cross-stitch kit, and, you know, I kind of take up cross-stitch intermittently. I don't have the patience to do, like, really huge projects, but this one is going to be about that size and is not, I don't think, going to be overly complex. I didn't realize that the cloth was actually blue, so I thought it was going to be more stitching than it actually will be. But the nice thing about this kit in particular, like they have a colored diagram, which is so helpful. I mean, I still feel like I'm about to get a migraine counting little squares sometimes, but having a colored diagram is so helpful. They should all do that. I think they also include like a traditional black and white, if that's your preference. And they also already kind of broke out all the thread and everything. So it wasn't the cheapest kit, but it seems like it's done really well. Yeah, when the design is finished, I guess I'll just have to find a way to like frame this or display it or whatever. So I haven't done any where I've like hung them on the hoop, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. They also included the hoop, which was nice. So that's been my little like evening activity as I've been ill, sitting on the couch, watching YouTube videos primarily. Okay, so that was it we went on a Friday, and that's a good tip. If you go on a Friday, the V&A is open till I think 10. Normally they close at like 5 or 6. So if you can schedule your visit for a Friday, unless you're a super like early bird type person, that'll give you a little bit more time, a little bit more of a relaxed walk around the museum. There's plenty to see. Like, you're not going to be able to see it all in one day. I think they at one point had like an exhibit all about like different Broadway costumes. That was pretty cool. Anyway, so then Christmas Eve, we went to Covent Garden. It seems like last time we spent a lot of time in Covent Garden, but this time around we only went once. And we went, our third and last tea was at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. And it's the same venue, I guess, where they have Frozen, the musical. Really beautiful building. It's like a Regency era building, I think. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because we were with like my sister-in-law and nieces. So there were more of us, and it was just, you know, I don't know. The service seemed to be lacking is basically my point. It was just not as smooth an experience as it was the first time around. And it's just the holidays as well can get a little crazy. So the Wolseley is still my top pick, but we always try out new places for tea. It's kind of what we're known for at this point in time. So when we went to Covent Garden, I did stop at the Diptyque boutique. Candles being another thing that is not the easiest to carry back because they're heavy. And it wasn't like an absolute mission of mine to pick this candle up, but we were kind of walking down and I saw the Diptyque boutique down this little side street and I was like, all right, we're doing it. So as you may be aware, Diptyque has special city candles that are only available in that city, and the boutiques in that city. They're not even sold in like the main retailers, I don't think. So this one was kind of on my radar as something I wanted to pick up. Periodically, I think once a year, they do make them available online for everyone to purchase. So you can purchase basically any city's candle from around the world. And I think that was around April of last year. So I'm assuming they'll do that again. And I'll probably post about it if I see it. But anyway, this is the London candle. This was £60, so probably more than I would pay for it in the US, but something about buying the thing in the place is, I don't know. So this is supposed to have a spicy floral scent meant to transport you to the city's Columbia Road flower market with hints of heliotrope, lilac, and juniper. And as you may know, juniper is the main kind of ingredient in gin, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, this is a 190 gram or 6.5 ounce candle. I think I had smelled this before. I want to say it was in Liberty's at some point, but yeah, really pretty reflective packaging. My mom, I'm sure, would love this, but she's not getting it. Yeah, very strong lilac note, and I know she loves lilacs, but she's not getting this. Maybe next time. I don't think she would appreciate a Diptyque candle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she would understand, you know, what she was getting. But yeah, really, really beautiful candle. I'll probably burn that sometime in the spring. They also threw in, it looks like, a couple samples. My shopping in Covent Garden was kind of a stealth expedition. Like, I had, you know, things I wanted to get. I wasn't really doing any browsing. I was just kind of hitting all these different stores because it was right before our tea time, so time was short. But anyway, I got two of these samples. This is Moheli, maybe, and this one is Dosan Eau de Toilette. So threw those ones in. I was kind of hoping it was maybe a couple of the other ones that I've heard people talk about. Like Lauren May just did a video where she talked about the, was it L'Eau Papier? Something like that. And then, was it Eau Dwell is also really popular. I don't know. But those are the ones she gave me. And then I also went to Chanel because I'd seen the Chanel exhibit, so I wanted to kind of mark the occasion. So I bought myself, this was something I kind of had my eye on, and I want to say this was slightly cheaper over there. This was 68 pounds, so I think if you do the conversion, it's cheaper than what it is in dollars. And Chanel, I think, is actually headquartered in London now. And the Chanel exhibit had kind of a whole thing about like Chanel's relationship with England, and like the tweed obviously was very big, and like her relationship with Boy. And there were like different letters of Queen Elizabeth getting Chanel No. 5, and I don't know, it was just really cool. So I got this Les Symboles de Chanel, and they also had fingerprints on it. Like a costume jewelry section where they were talking about the different motifs that were very important to Chanel, like the lion because she's a Leo, and stars and pearls and all of that. So it's really cool to see that. This is the one I got. I am wearing it. I just kind of tried to, you know, use it off to the side. So, you know, I like it. It's not life-changing. I think we've all kind of moved past the true highlight craze, but I mean, highlighters are just beautiful to look at in any case. Yeah, I probably won't use this one that much, but I did, like I said in a previous video, have it in mind to do kind of a feature on white highlighters. I'm not sure how long this one is going to be hanging around, and the white highlighter I have from Dior, I think it's been reformulated, so I'm not really sure what the kind of long-term future or prognosis of that video is, but most of the time when I buy makeup, it's with a future video or content in mind. So anyway, I picked that one up as like a little special thing. And then I went to the Glossier store and I got this huge bag, which I did fold up and put in my suitcase. So let's see what I had. So earlier I had applied the cookie butter balm.com that I picked up, and I'll just apply a little bit more. I ended up picking up one of these for each of my nieces who are like, one of my nieces is about to turn 13. But I thought this would be like, obviously not too intense or anything, like they would enjoy the experience of using this. And this is a limited edition scent, I think, for the holidays. I think this one, they went back to, yeah, this one has lanolin in it. So it has the new applicator, but the older formula. And I like these. It was just kind of more of a, you know, why not pick it up sort of thing. And I wanted, you know, to treat my nieces a little bit. And I think sometime before that I had seen, I think the Lipstick Gal uploaded a video about, or where she talked about these. So I got that one. I also got the, I'm not sure where it ran off to, but I also got the hot cocoa one. I got one of those for myself and my sister-in-law. I was going to get maybe all of them, the cookie butter one, but they wouldn't sell me more than 3, I don't think. So I had to diversify. But anyway, I got her one of those. She's not a huge makeup person, so I think, you know, that's something she can probably get some use out of. But really, I wanted to get some of the limited edition or limited merch to Glossier. I think what London is most known for, the London passport holder. So this is coated canvas and faux leather. It says pink, red, and sleek with a notebook slot on one side and plenty of pockets on the other to hold all your cards and documents. So comes in a nice case like this. I was kind of Googling to see what all the other cities have. I still haven't made it into the DC Glossier store. I need to make it a point. Oh, this is, oh, I don't want to open this now. Look at this little sticker. Glossier London. I'll have to see if I can just pull this out. Yeah, I haven't made it into the Glossier DC location, so I need to do that. They have, ironically, they have a luggage tag. And after the whole snafu with my suitcase, I was like, okay, now I really need to make it in. I don't know if we'll just do it on like a 3-day weekend, or try not to rip this sticker. Do it on like a 3-day weekend, or I think DC Restaurant Week is coming up around Martin Luther King Day, so I was kind of looking to see what we might do. And our anniversary is around then too, so I don't know. We might be popping in. It'd be nice if Glossier released, you know, a hot new product I wanted to pick up. In fact, I think when the foundation launched, I was considering going into DC to the Glossier store for that, but it was too much of an effort, really. So anyway, this is the passport holder, which is a very like sensible thing to pick up. They also had an umbrella, and I'll insert a photo of that, but I wasn't totally positive that it would fit in a suitcase. And my husband was, you know, saying like, you know, just get it and you can carry it or whatever. But I mean, carrying baggage through the airport is annoying enough without holding like a full-size umbrella. So I think next time I will maybe measure my suitcase or my husband's suitcase, since he has a bigger one, and see if it would fit. Like, I'd like to have it. I don't think I would use it really, but like I said, I collect stupid crap like that. Less what's the word? Sensible was this mug. Like, we need a mug count in the bottom corner. Yeah, so the cool thing about the Glossier stores, and why like when we go to Chicago later this year, in August, I think, I'm going to try and make it a point to go to the Glossier store, even though the Chicago merch is not that exciting. I think it's like a green bucket hat. But each of the different stores has like a different theme. So the DC store, I think because of Dulles and like National Ronald Reagan Airport, they have like an aviation theme, which is kind of cool. It's also the theme that I guess the Alamo Draft House in Crystal City, which is near the National Airport. Anyway, for whatever, we have the Air and Space Museum. They've gone with an aviation theme. So they have a luggage tag with like a little keychain type thing on it. And the store itself is kind of, you know, following that theme. So the one in Covent Garden, the Glossier store, it's in a, I want to say like 18th century townhouse, maybe even 17th century. So very kind of, I don't even know if it's Georgian architecture. I took a picture of the plaque that basically said who lived there and that kind of thing. So I'll insert that. But it's very like traditional British, you know, townhome type thing inside. So that's cool. But anyway, this was the mug that I got. Yeah, this kind of like swirly design was very kind of reminiscent. And it says Glossier London. So yeah, very, very securely packaged, by the way. So if you did want to bring this back in a suitcase, I think you would be confident that it would make it back. It's just a matter of like the weight and the bulk. And if I didn't mention, I think the Glossier products themselves, like the lip balms, were more expensive. Oh, I think they emailed my receipt. But anyway, yeah, I think I paid more buying them over there, but whatever. It's all good. We always make very wise financial decisions when we're traveling, right? So that was it for the bulk of my shopping, really. Christmas Eve, we stayed kind of close to home and just went to a local like inn, pub, restaurant type place. And then on Christmas, so, you know, I feel better making all my bad decisions because it seems like all of my in-laws also make bad decisions when it comes to gifts. Namely in that I got 2 mugs for my father-in-law, which I have left over there. I think he also gave me a candle. And then my husband's cousin also gave us a candle. So it's just, yeah, we have left some of our gifts over there basically to collect at a future date. And you know, it's the kind of thing where it's at the tail end of our trip. So we've already done all of our shopping. We know what, you know, we kind of have to handle coming back, but then we're kind of surprised with Christmas presents. One thing that wasn't a surprise, I got this little tin from Vieve. And this was basically where my husband asked me for my sister-in-law's benefit what I wanted, and I told her this, and you know, it's a nice tin, not too heavy, and I haven't tried Vieve before, so I was very excited to be able to try it. Good price point and all that. So this came with a blush and a lip dew, and this little insert comes out so I can reuse this for whatever. So yeah, so I did use this blush a bit as well on top of like the Armani blush and the Jones Road bronzer. So hopefully you're getting some idea of what all the shades look like from the application footage. But yeah, it was a nice little bronzer. It's a little bit more on the, I guess, like dusty rose side. It's not as pink as maybe I remembered it being, but I think that certainly worked for this look. And then the lip dew, I guess I'll try to remove some of the Glossier. I think I had it on when I started filming, but I know I've been drinking a lot of tea, so I can never find my mirror. I'll just use this Jones Road one. This is a really nice product. It's not very pigmented. It has, I think, a vanilla scent. So it's just a nice kind of really cushiony lip product. Really kind of balmy feeling as well. I feel like I could put this in my purse or whatever and apply it on the go without any issues. So yeah, this is in the shade Rosa. Got that for my sister-in-law, and I definitely brought that back. Boxing Day, again, we just stayed there and ate leftovers. And then Wednesday, I guess 2 days after Christmas was when we returned. A few other little things before I go into duty free. I think I mentioned this on a story. This video is going to be so long, but there's a bourbon brand called Buffalo Trace, And they're based out of Kentucky, but they have very limited distribution, at least in Virginia. Very hard to get a hold of. Like, my husband always has to like get on waiting lists and just surprise drops and that kind of thing. But you walk into Asda in the UK and they have plenty of Buffalo Trace, no issue. They all have, if I can go grab it. So this is what my husband got from Asda. I guess he's already cracked into it, but you can see it says for the UK market. It has a special UK label, but it's still, I think it's still bottled in the US. But anyway, a bottle of this broke in my suitcase, I think in May. So they had that, but then they also have in Covent Garden like a Buffalo Trace like experience or something. Like, they have this whole little pop-up, and I guess sometime later this year they're doing like a tasting experience. Am I in focus? So anyway, so we saw that. We were just like, what? Like, we have to go in. So my husband got, I think, a few more bottles. But anyway, we also got this little ornament. They had like t-shirts and all kinds of different things. But I thought this one was really cool. Again, it's an ornament, but it's made out of barrel wood. This particular one doesn't have much like color or character to it. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool. And at some point when we go back, we'll have to try out their tasting experience. Just wanted to mention that in case you or someone you know is a bourbon drinker. Also went to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. It was called, I want to say it was called like Street Burger or something. And to be honest, it was probably the best burger I've had in the UK, and better than some I've had in the US. So he has done well for himself. It seems like he's kind of like very, focused his efforts. He has like steak restaurants, I think. He has burger restaurants, and then like Hell's Kitchen or whatever. And then he just has lots of locations. But anyway, they had this thing where it was like a chocolate cup with soft serve ice cream in it. And if you ordered it, you could like pick out a prize. So I have some footage of me biting the cup, I think, and you know, how it exploded on me, which was kind of funny.
That's fantastic. That was fantastic. I got wipes. Look at the camera. Give me a big smile. Well, I'm lucky none of it went in my beer.
But yeah, this was the little wooden spoon that I picked out. Full throttle, full flavor always. So anyway, that was just a fun little random place that we stumbled across. I think it was near Leicester Square. And we also, my husband is more American than I am, I swear. So we went to a McDonald's. My husband loves McDonald's, and this was the same day that we were going to tea in Covent Garden, like around 4-ish, I think. So we just wanted something to kind of tide us over. So my husband got like, I don't know, quarter pounder or something. And I usually get a Happy Meal when we go to McDonald's because I'm not like the biggest McDonald's fan. So it just kind of gives me a little bit of something. But I think I saw, was it Louise Pentland? Is that her name? Had done like an ad for like this Paddington promotion that McDonald's had. So I got their little Happy Meal. So this was small acts of kindness can make a difference. And the thing I like about British Happy Meals, in case anyone cares, I think they have cheeseburger as an option. And I think in the States, it's just like hamburger and chicken nuggets. So obviously not the most like high quality toy, but I think you can like also hang this on a tree or something. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of fun. So lastly, for the grand finale, I got a couple of like travel exclusives at duty free. So I wasn't able to spend much time kind of shopping around because traffic was really bad getting to the airport. So we just didn't have a lot of time to waste on shopping, unfortunately. But I did grab another one of the Hendrix Amazonia gins. This is a travel exclusive, which means it's only available in duty-free stores. I tried this before and I enjoyed it, so I decided to pick one up. So it says it's infused with tropical flavors inspired by a quest to the Amazon. And from what I remember, this had like kind of like very strong like pineapple type notes and stuff. So if you do enjoy gin, especially Hendrix, and you are traveling, I think you can go on like worlddutyfree.com and see, I think it's .com, might be .co.uk, I don't know. You can see what they have for travel exclusives to kind of plan accordingly. So I got that. To be honest, like duty-free prices in general are not always the best. Like I think we found for bottles that are like widely available, like Costco prices were better than duty-free in a lot of cases. Same with like makeup. I mean, I don't know, you can check their prices, but if you can find something on sale, it's probably better than duty-free. Otherwise, you might save a little bit, but I don't know. So anyway, so the last thing I got, another big bottle here. This was a duty-free travel exclusive. Strawberry and pink peppercorn. So I got another bottle of this guy. So he is, how big are you? 1 liter. And this I, was carrying around. So interesting that the 2 different duty-free bottles were different in size. I think this one was only €8, if I recall. And generally, like this brand, I think Hendrick's is also a Scottish gin. This Edinburgh gin is less expensive than Hendrick's, and so far I found it to be quite delicious. So anyway, on that juniper flavored note, I'm going to call it here, and hopefully I will be able to edit this into something shorter than a feature film. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, if you've been to London recently, if you plan to go, or Germany for that matter. And I know I've just uploaded a few hauls back to back, but hopefully my next video should be something different. I have like planner content to film, like I said, that Laura Mercier video, and I did order a lucky bag, so that should be showing up in a couple weeks here. So anyway, I'm obviously having too much fun talking, but hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.